Waiting for Seconds is a podcast that talks about subjects of self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, and other personal topics. If you don't feel comfortable listening to this podcast alone, listen to it with someone important to you. May that be a teacher, a parent figure, or someone else you feel comfortable being with.
Ounlisjed.
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 This is Waiting for Seconds, the interview podcast where we meet people, ask them who they are and why they are. I'm Malcolm Outkelt, and I'm here with Shannon Miller, and of course, Cam, who you might recognize from episode 4, and Ethan, her significant other. If you two wouldn't mind going ahead and introducing yourselves, Cam, for the second time.
Yeah. I'm Cam. I still have one cat. Her name is Mochi. She's grown much bigger now. She is now 1.5 loaves and very unimpressed with life, mostly because although she gets to sit in a window hammock, there is not 2 window hammocks, which I will be promptly fixing.
Because she has one window hammock and wants another one?
Yes, because there's 2 windows in the place that she is, and she only has a hammock for one of them. This deeply upsets her, as you can understand. Like, this is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it for both windows.
Yes, the poor sweet girl.
She's only living in one lap of luxury.
Exactly. And she is the kind of princess who needs 2.
And Ethan.
Yeah, hi. I'm Ethan. I'm Cam's significant other. I have a wonderful black cat named Captain. Currently not in the room because he is mad at me because I held him in the most unpleasing way for him. I kind of dabble in guitar and play tabletop role-playing games with Cam and the other 2 hosts.
Hell yeah. So how did you guys meet? I mean, this is probably going to be the first of many relationship episodes that we have here on the podcast. And to just kind of get it started, how did you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend in a Discord server. And it was a interesting experience because I joined and they were in the middle of a game. Which was the first time I actually joined the voice call. And they had all their cameras on and everything, and I saw Cam. And I immediately fell in love. I know it sounds cliche as all get out, but I mean, that's how it happened for me. I looked at her and was like, wow, that is... Yeah. Lost for words, really.
Yeah, it certainly was interesting. And hey, it only took us, a 1.5 after that to begin actually dating.
Let's be honest.
A real short timeline.
Yeah, it took a year and a quarter to start talking, and it didn't take long after talking to start dating.
Once you guys actually talked to each other, we were like, oh, this works. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It was a very, comfortable beginning, especially once we started talking to each other and getting to know each other, and just, our shared interests, especially in TTRPGs, and both of us were working on, balancing different systems at the time. We had a mutual friend who was balancing a Star Wars system that we were helping with, and then also just trying out different TTRPG systems than just, D&D 5e, which I will say, if you're someone who likes TTRPGs, broaden your horizons to try a couple new systems. It will always be fun, hopefully.
There are a lot of great TTRPGs out there, and I get why people play D&D exclusively, but God, there's so much good shit out there.
There really is. And like it was one of those things where when I got introduced to new systems for the first time, I was like kind of shocked, honestly.
Mhm.
I was like, wait, holy shit, there's this many? There's like
Did
more than D&D and like Pathfinder?
we've all heard of D&D? We've all heard of Pathfinder, but what about other games? Did your guys' working kind of tangentially on tabletop games bring you together, talking about how to balance and think about tabletop creation?
I will say we had differing aspects
Mm.
on balancing, of course. Cam was more of the. He thought more than I did. To put it plain and simple, I was like, "Oh, but this would be cool," and she would be like, "No, no, 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 no. It's cool, but it's wrong."
I mean, yeah, sometimes, but also just ironically playing Magic the Gathering made me much better at understanding TTRPG rules.
Mm.
Who
That
who knew?
I mean, yeah, that balance translates pretty cleanly.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the other main thing that like really got us talking and like really led toward us dating was we were in a West March D&D together, and our
Mm.
characters were quite close, and we eventually decided to start like a romance for our characters. And
Found
yeah.
chemistry.
Oh, there is chemistry, yeah.
That's fun, that like realizing that you guys are good together by being good together.
I think that is the fun part of like especially that kind of romance, because we did like a very like slow burn but also like mostly private, because like this
Mhm.
was a
Yeah.
text and actual RP place. So like for the most part we did everything over text.
Mhm.
Which was,
Mm.
might I say, difficult at times.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, we heard Ethan's first impression of you, Cam. What was your impression of him?
So I will say, like, the day that he came into that BC, admittedly, we were in the middle of like one of our epic, like, kind of. I was either like the session before or the session of like one of the finals of one of our games. Like, it was like the end climactic, like,
Mm-hmm.
raiding the Citadel type levels.
Mm.
So I was a little distracted, but kind of at the end, we are all calming down and we got talking, and I met Ethan, and he previously, like, he was involved in some other TCGs, like a Pokemon uh tabletop RPG thing and stuff like that, and we
Mm.
chatted a bit, and I really got the impression that he was like this like cute, fun, like very happy-go-lucky person, and that's the vibe that I kind of like to be around,
Mhm.
especially as someone who admittedly is not happy-go-lucky. And so like started talking with him, and then eventually I decided to run a 3-shot of a Funhouse Dungeon White Plume Mountain.
Okay.
And I invited Ethan to it just because like some friends of mine were like, hey, you should invite Ethan. Like he wants to play too. And I invited him, and he was one of the highlights of that game
Mm.
for me. Just like a
Oh,
great
come on
player,
now.
a great person, and just yeah.
And I will say, at that point, I was already like deeply had a crush for her. Like, I was harboring a crush for like a year and a quarter
Mhm.
because I was like too quiet to, you know, try to, as they say, shoot my shot. But yeah, that was a really fun game. Like, I had a lot of fun.
So you guys, if are entirely long distance, right? You met online and have formed your relationship entirely through online platforms, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
We have yet to actually get to meet up in person. We're hoping to do it later this summer, but
Has that proved challenging in any significant ways? Has it proved positive in any significant ways? I mean, other than meeting each other.
I think that there's always challenges, especially when coming to long distance, because like there is a certain level of both constant availability while at the same time kind of having to balance that. Because like especially as someone who lives a lot of my life online, like Ethan and I, other than when we're working, pretty much we could be in VC together every single day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we're chilling with friends, whether we're alone, things like that, um that's always something we can do if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side is kind of that's not always what you need to do. Like both of us take time for ourselves as well as like take time for each other. I think right now our biggest challenge is going to be kind of, especially as young people and in this economy, is kind of doing the traveling part of long distance that has to
Uh-huh.
happen.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
even then it's kind of one of those things where long distance is also great in the way that you can always be at least somewhat available and somewhat present whenever you need each other. Like for us, one of the big things that we've been able to do is just like we go to sleep in a Discord call together, just because it gives you that kind of level of emotional intimacy, and it's all about kind of managing those needs as well as honoring those emotional wants and needs that you have for each other, and what's going to make you feel comfortable and happy and successful in a relationship.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I'm glad that in this day and age that we live in, that we actually have the technology that we do.
Mhm.
Because it's just amazing.
It is pretty impressive that we are able to, I mean, that people can have a relationship like yours that is healthy and comfortable despite being
So far away.
thousands of miles apart.
Yeah, well,
Just
roughly
a couple thousand,
a couple thousand. Yeah.
A couple thousand.
So when are you guys gonna? You said sometime this summer.
Hopefully.
Hopefully later this summer. It's going to kind of depend on like people's vacation time and just how work schedules are, especially when you're kind of at the bottom of the corporate ladder.
And that's also
Gotcha.
a thing that's got to be balanced is like the time. Really, you got to make sure everything really lines up really well, or it just won't really work as well as you want it to. Like, you have to plan it for this sort of string of days for it to work.
Mm-hmm. And like another thing we do just in our daily life is we both have kind of this thing where like we play games together a couple times a week, like 3 days a week. We have a game that's always booked together, where it's like we're in our big D&D groups, and that's a big part of us being social in general, but also being able to get that quality time with each other. And I think that's one of the biggest parts of long distance relationships is it's very easy to not get that quality time that you need if you don't put an active effort into it and if you don't make it a priority. Like you have to make it a priority, and you have to really make it clear also sometimes to the other people in your life who may not understand. Especially because to some people, long distance, even though we are in 2023, is still this weird, creepy thing that they're like, you're long distance? You met over the internet?
Mm-hmm. You don't even know him.
How do you
Well,
know if they're real?
It's definitely a
Exactly.
lot better than like what it used to be, where you had to either send. It wasn't like Skype or Discord.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it was like letters and emails, and that's not. It doesn't seem realistic enough. But at least with what technology we have today, you can actually communicate via looking at each other. it might be through a computer, but it's way better than what it used to be.
Nearly
Oh.
instantaneous and
Mhm.
with body language and
It definitely helps to have visual, but also being able to to hear their voice as well,
Yeah.
because it really just sparks those senses that they are something more than just words. They are true feelings and emotion.
So, how long have you guys been dating for now?
Well,
Almost a year.
almost a year, yeah. On
Wow.
July 17th will be our
Oh,
first
wow.
year mark.
Oh, wow. So it's coming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's steadily approaching.
Oh Lord, she coming.
She coming. Well, in that almost a year long relationship, has there been something that has changed, like about you personally, as maybe you learned about, or something you've gained from the other person? Has anything changed in the relationship? Or sorry, has anything changed with you personally because of the relationship?
Um, there has been a lot of me personally. I have had a lot of um issues that I didn't think were issues until they were brought to my attention by Cam, and she really helped me learn how to have self looking inward. Because I always thought oh yeah, this is normal, this is totally fine, this is it happens on a daily basis, and then I'd tell her that, and she'd be like, oh, oh God, no, that's not how you work at all.
A lot of
So
realizations that your normal is not.
yeah, my normal is not the standard normal. So she really taught me how to kind of take care of myself a bit more, because I'm going to be honest, I probably wasn't the easiest on myself at times.
That's putting it nicely.
You got to keep it family friendly.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you just get a little down on yourself. That's okay. I think Ethan has really taught me a lot of. I struggle with being a patient person. I'm very much someone who it's when I'm I want to go do something, I want to go do it right now, and I'm going to do everything about it, and I'm going to go and kind of go 100%. And Ethan's kind of taught me how to take a step back and take a breath, and that sometimes it's okay, to take a day off, or that it's okay to even just give myself a breather, and that sometimes it's okay to give 70% when 100% of you is not available.
Mm.
I don't have to give it my all every single day, doing every single thing, because it's just exhausting. If you do that to yourself, you are going to burn yourself out. And
Yeah.
he's really taught me a lot about kind of getting that balance back into my life. And that's been really huge and a stabilizing factor for me.
Seems like y'all just telling one another alternate perspectives and giving you an outside view is really a big piece of understanding yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, a lot of the times, even my own perception of oh yeah, this is just how people do things, or this is just normal. There are things that I thought in my life was normal, and stressors and just levels of anxiety that I thought were normal that just aren't. Like, this is not what you should be dealing with, or things like
Yeah.
that. And, sometimes we just need someone who can remind us, that yes, what you're feeling is valid, but maybe you should look at it a little bit of a different way, because it's not always going to be what you think of as normal may not always be normal. Just because that's how you've grown up or gotten used to being treated by others doesn't mean that's how you should accept being treated or how you should continue to kind of have that outlook.
Definitely seems like you both have learned a lot from each other in the past year.
Oh, most definitely.
For sure.
Anything major that you've learned about the other person that you want to share, that you didn't know before your relationship?
Um, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
That's like,
hard to put a pin on something.
I am going to absolutely shame you all over the internet that your favorite cookie is oatmeal raisin.
Okay.
Don't
Fuck
shame
yeah.
him.
Good taste, good
I'm
flavor.
in your corner. I'm in your corner, Ethan.
You're
I picked the two people on the internet who like.
you
think
thought you were
oatmeal
gonna
raisin.
bully me?
This is
No,
this is
we're
my
gonna bully
podcast,
you.
Cam. I'm gonna bully you now.
God damn.
You're in the wrong place for that.
Here's
I'm
my
looking
problem.
to you, audience.
Oatmeal raisin cookies are disgusting, and chocolate chip cookies I'm allergic to.
Oh yeah,
That's-
I didn't
oh,
know
yeah.
he was deathly allergic to chocolate. So anything chocolate that I
Jesus.
would like to enjoy, I can't anymore.
I
Like-
also did not know that.
I didn't know
like
that either.
Like German chocolate.
Like I don't
Like-
always have to go to the hospital.
Oh, cool,
But-
good.
It's
But,
only
like-
sometimes.
9.9 out of 10, she has to go to the hospital. There's the
Okay,
one
like
time
7.8.
you're being modest.
Can we round up to an 8 at least?
We'll call it
Fine.
an 8. See, this is what relationships are about. Compromise.
Compromise. Not
Yeah,
communication.
I came up 0.2. He came down 1.8.
Compromise, yeah.
In the
Compromise.
South, haggling is an art.
The art of the haggle.
Art of the haggle.
It's almost as good as the art of the haggis.
Mm,
I don't
You
think
know-
that's
not almost as good. No.
Never
Better?
had it, so I'm not gonna put it input.
That's kind of no.
Man's a
Hey.
I'm not
fucking
happy with
haggis.
that
Try-
one. I can't even get
Try
back
it.
to the questions.
If you try it a few times, here's the thing. I grew up in a household where the rule was you had to try every food 13 times before you could officially say you didn't like it. Weird part was
13
for the
times
most
is a
part,
big number.
13
is-
times. But here's the thing, by the time I tried something for the 13th time, most of the time I liked it.
13 feels too big because it feels like by 13, I don't eat a food 13 times. Like,
See, I'm someone who
Unless I
eat
really
the
like
same
it.
Food. I eat the same food consistently. Most of the days.
This
right.
is true.
I wake up, I have a coffee, and I have egg bites. Then at lunch, I have a lettuce wrap burger. And then for dinner, I will do the non-breaded baked chicken wings and coleslaw. That's my number one day. I probably
You
eat every
put-
other day. That's roughly what I
We
eat.
need to spice it up.
right? Is there
No,
at least
they're
like a
spicy
hot
wings.
sauce?
They are actually hot. No,
Oh,
they're hot.
I'm not talking about spice
I
as in
use
flavor.
I
We
use
need to
Nando's
change it
hot
up.
sauce. I use Melinda's hot sauce.
I don't
like-
know either of those people.
I don't know who
Okay.
Melinda is, but we got to change some stuff up, honey.
Cam, do you have a cheeky Nando's where you're at?
I do have a cheeky Nando's where I'm at. In fact, there are 3
I need to
Nando's
go.
in my city.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get some cheeky Nando's.
Come on, road trip, man. Come on.
So as an American, I have no
I'm
idea
getting
what a
Nando's.
Nando is.
Okay, it's
Malcolm, we're
this,
going. We're going up to Canada to get cheeky
It's
Nando's.
this place that they do chicken. And it's
Oh,
really
you've already
good.
got me.
Yeah,
Done.
They do chicken so well.
I'm from the South. Chicken is a staple.
And they also do peri peri fries. Those are delicious.
What?
Peri peri. So it's this spice.
Mm-hmm. It's like Cajun seasoning, but it's its own thing.
Ah. Thank you.
Okay.
They also do corn. on the cob.
Okay.
I'm refraining from a joke, but
What?
no, it was just gonna be making a bunch of noises.
Oh.
Me being a metal fan, I immediately thought of the
Oh.
band Korn.
Uh-huh.
So
No, they do not have
Not the
band
song?
members barbecued on a cob.
I mean,
That'd
Damn
be kinda
it.
cool.
funny,
I'm glad to know that Nando's doesn't do cannibalism.
well, you don't know that for sure.
Yeah, like what if they
The
just
corn
took
isn't
chicken bone?
cannibalism.
Yeah, like you could just like take chicken bones, rewrap them with human, and just grill
Uh-huh.
them.
Pull the chicken off and turn that into like a tender or something.
Mm.
Have we just gone on for 5 minutes about food?
We sure
Absolutely.
have.
Almo-
and
no,
somehow
I think it's
managed
been
to
more
make
like
a full circle.
10 minutes.
When
We
you
did
guys
a-
meet each other in person the first time, what are you eating?
Ah,
Ooh.
I think we've discussed this. I'm gonna take you
We
out.
have.
So here's
The
the thing.
cheeky
We
Nando's.
promised. No, we
We
promised.
promised
our
a first date.
Date would be a dinner and a movie, but like watching like the movie at our house, and dinner has to be pizza.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And-
okay.
We've already
What?
like structured out what toppings are going on it. Who's paying for what? Like we're gonna rent a movie, or like find something somewhere. We're gonna find a movie. One person's job is to find the movie. The other person has to go get the pizza.
I'd like to ask,
And,
why
like-
pizza?
Because
It started
we
out
are.
kind of. It started out partially as a bit of a joke about like we'd been talking before we were dating about like what's your perfect first date kind of deal. I had made the joke of like just like sitting at home watching a movie, eating pizza, chilling out.
Honestly, sound fucking great.
It does.
It's a good
Oh,
vibe.
you don't have to worry about getting fancily dressed. You don't have to worry about like
And,
like
you
doing
can, like,
doing makeup
cuddle.
or and cuddle and like be in a safe place and not have to worry about people judging you just in
And you
case
don't-
you might have did something wrong.
You don't have to drive back home afterwards. Like, you just go to sleep.
Yeah, you
Done.
put the pizza in the refrigerator if you didn't finish it and go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
And I mean, as long as there's no pineapple on the pizza, it will always be a perfect date.
Agreed.
Wow. No, I'm
Kind
the
of
one in the
cringe.
chat full of pineapple haters.
No, I'm not a pineapple hater. I'm in
Oh,
your
good.
corner,
Not
Malcolm.
that
Solidarity.
bad. The pineapple's not actually that bad. It's just kind of like.
Oh no, it's a sin. Plain and simple.
See, here's the thing. I like jalapenos on my pizza, and I find
As do I.
jalapenos
Hell
and the
yeah.
pineapple and the tanginess of the pizza and the salt. Like, it's just too much salt. You gotta cut out one, so it's gotta be the pineapple,
See-
because, like, I need the jalapenos.
I've been
Right.
The
persecuted.
pineapple has no salt.
No, like, the pineapples are salty up here. Like, they're like the
No,
canned pine.
it's a
Why
fruit.
is your pineapple salty?
It's like a canned pineapple, and it's always, like, salty. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
someone's trying to poison you with sodium.
Ethan, you gotta bring her pineapples.
I
No,
gotta-
like,
I gotta
fresh
get
fruit pineapples. Like if I
From
cut
down
my
south.
own pineapple, it's
I gotta-
not salty.
I gotta get
But, like,
them
the stuff that comes
locally
on
grown
pizza is
pineapples
really
here in the South.
salty.
Jeez.
I've been heavily criticized for putting mushrooms on my pizza.
Okay, you need
Really?
mushrooms on the pizza. It is.
Yeah,
It's
right?
not like
Every
love
one of
this.
my like IRL friends hate it.
Okay.
Hate it.
Here's some controversial opinion. Here's my ideal pizza. Right, regular pizza sauce. Give me some nice mozzarella, a little bit of
Mhm.
feta
Hell yeah,
cheese
hell
because
yeah,
we're being
okay.
fancy.
Mm-hmm.
sure, I
Spinach.
get it.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna
I
put
love
some.
spinach.
We're gonna put
Okay.
some bell peppers on there. We're gonna put some
Aight.
black olives. We're gonna put some green olives.
Aight.
We're gonna put some chicken on there. We're gonna put some jalapenos
How do you cut the
on
chicken?
there.
Yeah.
Like shredded. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like when you've done
Okay.
like that slow cooker chicken and you
Uh-huh.
Almost
shred
like
it.
pulled pork type
Yes.
style.
All right.
Yes,
You know,
that's how you do
I
it.
can vibe with that. All right.
Yeah,
As-
and then you
as-
have
as the
just
cool kids
so
say,
many
"Fuck
mushrooms
with
on
this."
there too. It's so good.
Oh yeah. One thing I used to do is take sriracha and just all over it.
You know
Just
what?
like
with
cheese
ya.
and sriracha.
Yeah, like a pizza, but like what we used to have a Pizza Hut, here in my little small town.
Did it have the roof?
It still has the building's still there.
Does the building still have the roof?
Yes.
Does it have?
It still has the weird,
pizza?
just little slant and then up and box. They would take the sriracha and put it on the crust and then cook it.
Oh,
That way,
I'm
like
not
the
against that.
The sriracha is like in the crust, and then like they put
yeah, 'cause
more
also,
like
like-
on the pizza, and it's
Yeah.
so
It's,
like,
good because sriracha is
infused.
like a sweet heat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting something like a meat lovers, where you're getting a little bit of salt, a little bit of salty from like some of the meats, if you're getting the savory and the spice from like the crushed red pepper, some Parmesan cheese, and the sriracha, it's a match made in heaven. It's so good.
And it also spices up that crust a little bit so that it's
Mhm.
like,
And
I mean-
especially if it's on thin crust,
oh,
Oh.
yeah.
And
I
then
am
you
a
can, like,
thin crust
dip it
enjoyer.
in ranch. If you're
Oh,
a
yeah.
ranch
Now-
enjoyer.
No. As a southern man, I know I'm going to be persecuted for the rest of my days. But ranch is mid.
Okay, but you know
Okay.
what's better than ranch?
What's that?
Dill
Oh.
ranch.
No.
You know what? That's yeah.
No
No,
input.
No.
I'm in everybody's corner this episode.
Shannon's just like sitting there,
You're doing
extremely hungry.
No, Shannon, you're doing
not
like
even joking. I just
laps
had pizza
around the
like
ring right now.
hour
you're
ago.
like, you got this. You got this.
You
No,
got this. I believe in
this."
you.
Yeah. You're being the water boy, giving everyone water, not just your team.
I'm the water
Okay.
boy.
But
You are the water boy.
what about
H2O.
ranch? What about blue cheese dressing?
What?
All right.
We have a blue cheese hater in the chat.
I'm
Yeah,
not a blue
yeah, we
cheese
do.
hater.
It's not my favorite, but I can eat it.
You know,
I fucking love blue.
I will
I
say, if you're
just-
putting I'm the type of person
it's
like
the
if we do, yeah,
Blue?
it's
Blue?
it's the moldy blue color. Yes, I know it's non-harmful, but like my brain can't get it out of my brain that I'm just nomming on spores.
Bro, it's all spores.
all spores.
It's always been spores.
just
It's
like
spores
Ohio.
all the way down.
Mhm. They spread like
Jeez.
spores into Ohio. Ohio is such
They're
a
rough
mid
and
state.
coarse and get everywhere.
Are you in Ohio?
No, I've been to Ohio. And,
Ah.
Ohio.
never
game.
have I
Only in
thought I would be
Ohio.
like, oh yes, I'm leaving the South. Go to Columbus, Ohio, and there is a country concert happening.
Is it Columbus, Ohio, where there's like that weird guy who wanted to make like a mini New York out there? Or am I
Truly,
thinking of
I
a
don't know
New
what in
York?
God's name you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I never
Newark,
pay
York?
attention to Ohio.
Newer York?
Newer York?
Yeah. All right. Shit.
You want me to
So
take
you
over?
guys are gonna no. So you guys are gonna have pizza for your first like interaction,
Yes.
physical
Yeah.
interaction.
hmm
What movie are you guys watching?
Oh.
I don't know that that's been decided yet.
No, that was going to be more of like a heat of the moment type thing. I was like, all right,
Mm.
you go pick a film, then we're going to go get pizza.
Yeah.
And by the time we go get pizza and come back, we still haven't picked a film yet. So we got to sit there for 45 minutes looking through Netflix and
Looking
every
through
other
No.
streaming service.
Here's the thing. If there's something that both of us are wanting to watch, we'll watch that. Otherwise, we're watching the Lord of the Rings extended editions.
Yes,
All
I
three
have
of
made that
them?
promise to you that we
All
have to
three of
watch
them.
that in one sitting.
One sitting.
That's 12
longest first
hours.
date.
We
That's
understand.
12
We
hours.
understand.
You know, I have a very comfortable like downstairs to watch the movie. We could chill down there for 12 hours. No problem.
Find a director's cut and make it go for like 16.
Oh
I guess-
God, I'd love even longer cuts than Lord of the Rings trilogy, honestly. They were so good.
You know, I'm going to be sitting in that little lower room. And every time something happens in the film, I'm going to feel eyes on me, and then hear quietly, "Did you know?" Every
Oh,
moment.
that is one cardinal sin about me. I
You
talk
question
during
everything.
movies. No, I talk during movies.
Yeah,
Oh God.
I know.
I only talk
re-
during movies that like the people who I'm sitting with have seen. Because then we'll just kind of watch it casually.
Yeah, then yeah, if you've all watched the movie but you're watching it again, you know it's kind of like a mediocre movie. You talk shit about it.
It is Lord of the Rings, though.
Yeah, like we're not
It
shit
is.
talking Lord of the Rings. This was like
No,
my
I'm saying like in.
non-problematic favorite movie of my childhood.
I get talking during a movie because like you're trying to have a if you're on a date, you want to chat with the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to sit there and enjoy the moment with each other, but also there's a movie in the background.
There's also a movie,
Fuck the
which is why you do it at
movie.
home, right?
Exactly.
You can pause it and get into a conversation about pizza.
And then get in the
okay.
conversation about a thing that's happened in the movie. You pause it, you talk about it, explain it because I'm an idiot, and then we go
Did
back
you
to
know
watching
in
it.
this scene he broke his toe and the scream is actually a scream of his pain?
Yes, because he kicked the helmet really hard. I know that one.
I'm so proud of you.
That's the only scene I've ever watched of Lord of the Rings. I've never seen anything about Lord of
Really,
the
you
Rings.
haven't watched like the
I've
Really?
read
all
the
of
first.
orc charge?
I have not seen that. No. I
It's so
read the first
good.
2 chapters of The Hobbit when I was 7.
You foolish man who is foolish. That's going to
I
be a very
understand
good
I am a
movie
heretic.
to watch.
Hey, Ethan, just so you know, I am there with you. I have not watched Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. It's just a lot. I
It
don't
is
want to
a
get
lot.
invested.
I've
Yeah.
had a lot of feelings on this episode right now. And,
You know, this
now
was
I'm
supposed to be.
angry.
This is
Oh,
supposed to be
no.
our episode of us getting questioned,
You know what?
but Shannon's
Yeah,
getting his
true.
morality questioned.
Oh. Ooh. Speaking of like little pet peeves, as in talking during movies, what are other pet peeves that you might have about each other? Ooh, spicy.
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 Oh.
I know one that annoys you.
Oh, I'm a
Cups.
cups.
Pops?
You know, like
Cups.
the joke about like how women will finish half their coffee and just leave their cup wherever. Hi, I'm women.
You're women.
Hi.
I'm really bad at that. I will like be finishing a drink and then I'll leave like a quarter in it and I'll just set it down somewhere and my object permanence is not great. So it doesn't exist. So therefore I have nothing to clean up, clearly.
It's gone.
Yeah, and then the other people in living with are like, why are there 6 cups throughout the house, Camille?
And they're all like having
They're all the same.
a small little bit of. Yes, they're all the same liquid, but they all have the same amount in it.
Hey. Some of them are Dr. Pepper, some of them are coffee, and some of them are the like
Oh, you leave coffee sitting out.
Yeah, and like some of them are also like,
Oh.
cherry bubbly.
Oh.
Because cherry is the best flavor, and I will hear
Oh,
nothing
the
else.
weak person drink. Okay.
What do you mean a weak person
Coffee?
drink? Just because I still have intact taste buds?
Mine are dead, so.
What?
Oh yeah, like specifically for like spicy foods. I have like
Those taste buds.
Bros taste buds.
I've told Cam many times where I have eaten just hot peppers just on a whim.
Bad idea.
I have like 3 ghost peppers in the kitchen that have been
a zero
drying.
taste bud user.
At least like crush them up and do something interesting with them. Come on, man.
You could make like a really nice penne arrabbiata with that.
Yeah, those are words, yeah.
The
but
zoodle noodles with like a
that's
spicy
another
sauce.
set of words.
Zoodle noodles?
So yes, my
The
pet
zucchini
peeve-
round
noodles.
long guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with like a little bit of texture because you're not a heathen and you know that you want the textured ones because they get the sauce better.
Are we allowed to use more than one answer for the
Yeah.
question?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Her grammar.
Grammar Nazi?
I am
I
being
am a
bullied.
grammar Nazi. I am a hardcore
Ah.
grammar
Cam is being
Nazi.
bullied.
Like, whenever me and her like send messages to one another, if I have made a slight mistake, I immediately edited it.
Mm.
Like, it's just and every day,
I
without fail,
firmly
every day.
believe that the people who read my messages can read between the fucking lines. I've been proven
there is
wrong continuously every day. But you know, one of these days, someone will understand. Yeah, it's my grammar and my spelling. I'm really bad for sending the quick text, not spell checking it, sending it, and then being like, don't you understand what I said?
Yes, because she doesn't read it because she thinks, oh yeah, I've spelt this right.
Don't you have to
about you,
do
Cam?
spelling?
Probably like
Don't
pet peeves is like for Ethan would probably be he's really bad, especially when we're like on call together. For like he'll like mildly like just stub his toe or something and just like scream like God damn it, like he's actually seriously hurt. It gives me like a heart attack every single time. Like every time. Yeah, and then I think the only other minor one is just like sometimes you get a little down on yourself, baby, and I'm like, oh, please no.
I have two moods: in pain or depressed.
Men only have two moods.
Also, yeah, I found a exact moment where she didn't check what she was typing.
Mm.
It's gonna be pronounced Ounlisjed.
Huh?
Ounlisjed?
Ounlusjed.
One more
Okay,
time
give
for
us
the,
the
for the
context
audience.
there.
We were talking about like beforehand, like doing the podcast, and you know, I'm a bit of a nervous wreck sometimes being all the time. So I was really worried, like, what if I say something like off? And she was like, okay, and if there's anything we don't want on list yet, we can ask to have it cut.
Okay, now I'm trying to find this. What?
Ounlisjed?
Here, I'm gonna copy
Ounlisjed?
paste it, and then I'm gonna put it
Am I
in.
getting receipts pulled on me on this podcast?
Sorry to the listeners,
Ounlis-
but yeah, that's the word for word message.
Where?
I put it
The-
in our little voice
keys.
channel.
We don't want.
Ounlisjed.
Though you could remove that word and still have a perfectly like normal sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
keys.
I don't know what that word is supposed to be.
To
That's
be
the thing.
honest, neither do I.
If there's anything we
You
don't
know, one of
want-
these days someone can read between the lines. Apparently,
I'm
can't
typically
read
really
between
good
the
at that.
lines.
Okay,
I'm normally
you-
really good at reading between the lines.
I
I
feel like this
can't
might
do
have
that
been
one.
like a quick text moment.
This is the like most in between the lines you have to get.
I'm not
You
in between
should-
the lines
by the
anymore.
way,
I'm
please
in between
title
the in
this
betweens.
episode Ounlisjed somewhere in there.
Ounlisjed.
Yeah,
Ounlisjed. I know what the title's going to be. It's going to be Waiting for Romance. Ounlisjed.
Ounlisjed.
If
Yeah.
anybody can figure out what I was saying, you know, let us know.
Please.
Send me a IM on
An
Instagram
email.
or an email.
Yeah,
Everybody
send us an
has our email.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys have like a email for the podcast?
We
Yeah.
do, but nothing's come to it. I don't think.
You should like let me know that email. I'll make sure things go to it.
You'll sit Ounlisjed?
Oh no. I'll just sign you guys up for all of the spam services.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that.
whenever I'm at the mall and they're like, "Hey, do you have an email you want to give us?" Absolutely, I will give yours.
You'll ruin us.
You'll get a lot of like
I'm
points.
looking
and
at my
promotions and
keyboard
deals.
and I
It'll be
see
great.
no close letters that potentially could be.
Almost.
Right, I was trying, like,
Oh,
ultimately...
published. That's what I meant to say.
How the
Oh my
fuck
god.
is that published?
If we don't want
see it,
published.
I see it.
I see it. I see it. It works.
NB, uh-huh.
I can see like
OP.
the B and the J.
JH, uh-huh. Yeah, obviously, it's published.
That's published.
On
There's
the
no-
Ounlisjed.
Ounlisjed, i.e.
Almost.
Ounlisjed.
I feel like I'm reading
Ounlisjed.
Cyrillic.
Shit.
Alright, well, this
But
is
yes,
all getting Ounlisjed.
Oh,
That's my pet peeve. The fact that she can't spell.
I'm cutting none of the Ounlisjed out.
Nope.
Oh, God.
Keep it in.
It is only Ounlisjed.
Editing.
Only Ounlisjed.
Editing, Shannon. Don't do it, or I'll kill
Okay.
you.
You know what you do? You just start the podcast. You take a snippet of just Ounlisjed, and like you have all of us saying it because we all have throughout this conversation, and you cold open on that, and then go to your normal intro.
Yeah. That's our cold open, is Ounlisjed.
God, it's gonna be so much fun to edit.
Cold open, though.
Oh, that's true.
What was
Oh,
our
yeah.
good joke?
Just
Cold
cold
open.
close on Ounlisjed. That's what you
Cold
do.
clones. You know what? Can we just wrap this episode? Everyone saying Ounlisjed.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at the
Yeah,
end, we just all say
we've
Ounlisjed.
got like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm done for that.
Okay.
we can either
Big
wrap it up
tradition.
now or we could do like 10 minutes from now. We could ask
let's
one
do
more
10 more
question.
minutes.
Let's do
Yeah, we
let's
got
do
some
one
more
more
time.
question.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is gonna
big
get
pressure on
deep.
This one. You gotta choose the right
Uh-huh.
one.
It really is.
What do you think of society's idea of what a man or a woman should be in like role sense? How does that work for your relationship? How do you think that should work for everybody's relationship?
Honestly, I think it should be equal part. Like, both have the right to do anything that deemed needed done in a relationship. Like, the woman doesn't need to be the cook, the cleaner, the taking care of the kids or anything, and the man being the go out, work, and
Work
bring
and
home the
die.
paycheck. Yeah, work and
Please
die.
embrace wage slavery for me.
Yeah, it does not have to be that.
Yeah.
I believe that two people in a relationship should share the burdens instead of shoving all on one and then all on the other. Like,
So some days it might be 30-70 or even like 10-90.
I wouldn't even call it that, really. Like, maybe like 60-40, and that would flip-flop in between people. Like,
Yeah, and
it could be like one night, Cam could, fix dinner, and I could be doing laundry.
Please
And
do
then-
the laundry. Don't make
Oh
me
no,
do
I've
laundry.
already
I
added
ruin
laundry
clothes,
to my list of duties.
Okay, thank you.
I know. I ruin clothes too. I just put holes in them.
I have a really bad tendency for dyeing things. I wash everything
I'm-
on cold, and I still manage to dye things. I don't understand.
Okay.
Well, that's why he's doing the laundry.
That's why I'm doing
Exactly.
laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Even
it
though-
depends. Like, I actually do believe that sometimes you're gonna be like, 70-30 and things like that in a relationship because there are just gonna be days where, like, especially unfortunately in today's day and age, you really can't get by on average for a single income family. You need
No.
both people working. You need both people putting in effort in the home. Like, today's work schedule, the whole 40-hour work week, 8 hours a day, it was designed with you to have a wife at home whose job was to cook and clean and take care of the kids, because that's also a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
But just with the way that the economy is and how wages have not kept up with anything, unfortunately, you need both people kind of pitching in every single corner. And I think it's like, it shouldn't necessarily be, if you do have the ability to have someone to stay home, that it should be the wife or the husband, or, you know, if you have two wives or two husbands, or however way you want to mix and match. Like, it's not based on gender of who stays home or who goes to work, or if both you go to work, or somehow you make that work. I think a big part of that is about like what your own personal needs and goals are. Especially too, like I will say, one of the things as a woman is like, as a woman who works in the corporate world, is the fact that if I want to have children, which I do, like that maternity leave will set me back 3 to 5 years in my career. And that, you know, getting pregnant and choosing to have kids tends to lower your professional reputation with your colleagues. It's just kind of one of those unfortunate realities where when we talk about what the idea of a man or woman should be, like there's all these great ideals we have, but sadly, the world we live in is not quite as caught up with where it should be. And I especially think too, like a big part of relationships is balancing like people's individual choices and needs more so than like what their stereotypical needs should be. Like, you know, if you have, say, the ability to actually be a single income household, it shouldn't necessarily be the woman who's staying home and cooking and cleaning, and the man who's having to go out and earn money and be the breadwinner. That's really should be amongst the couple. Like, there's no necessary thing that a man or woman should do by nature of their gender, in my opinion. I think that should be up to the individuals, and like as a couple, like a heterosexual couple, kind of how you want to navigate the world and how you want to navigate different challenges and what things you feel you're most apt to do and what you think you'll struggle most with, things like that.
It just depends on the nature of the relationship and what you guys have decided for yourselves.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an individualist in that sense of like, I don't think that there is ever going to be a time where I can propose a solution and be like, and this will work for everyone.
Don't expect that to work for everyone because everybody is different.
We are not yet replaced by autonomous drones.
Yet.
Not yet.
Okay, well,
Birds.
hopefully we'll reach the singularity soon enough.
I hope so.
Well, same.
Oh, that's a good way to put it, Cam. So,
What about you guys, actually? Gonna turn this question around on you.
Oh god.
No.
Yeah.
Turn the gun on the user,
This
huh?
is their podcast. This is their podcast
God.
now.
You took it over.
We're holding you hostage now.
Yeah, we are holding you hostage. I'm sorry. I do want to actually hear. I'm very curious. What do you guys think of society's idea of what a man or woman should be, and like especially in regard to relationships?
So I think the hard part about this question for me is that society is not monolithic. That to understand society, one has to understand so many small pieces of it, which is nearly impossible to do. Because if I were to say the thing I generally believe, which is that I am unimpressed by many of society's viewpoints and think that we are stuck far in the past, I would be discounting the views of truly probably billions of people who have found their way into a more enlightened viewpoint, at least in my opinion. But I think that the best way to answer this is that, on large, society has failed to define men and women in a way that is appropriately indistinctive, that is allows for one to choose their role in society and rather assigns their role upon birth, which I view as a failing of society. Jen?
I've got a different point of view. I'm looking at this question in more of a relationship sense. Either 2 or 3, no matter the gender. It's a lot what you guys were saying, specifically you, Cam and Ethan. It kind of just, for me, it depends on how I want to do the relationship, how the dynamic is. I know in my last relationship, I didn't get to really experience that because I was a hormonal teenager who just kind of wanted to have the title. No, well, more in a sense, I wanted the title of being in a relationship. There was something in my brain that thought that you being in a relationship just makes you look cooler, makes you look better. I don't know what it was, but I didn't really define my terms of what I think the relationship should be, what the roles are going to be. And I know now it's more, I know I want to feel responsible in taking care of my significant other. I want to feel responsible and like helpful. I think helpful is the biggest way. Like I can describe everything. As long as I am helpful to my significant other, that's just how I imagine the roles can be decided. If I am kind, I know I can't always give my 100% because, like we said earlier, it's you can't always. Nobody's a perfectionist, and if you try to be, you're going to burn yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the grand scheme of things, as long as I can be helpful to my significant other, most of the time, I think those roles will decide themselves just with the dynamic of who the person is that I'm dating and how I interact with them. I think that's the best way I can answer it.
It's all about the dynamic.
Yeah.
And like every relationship has a different dynamic just depending on the people that are within the relationship. So no person's answer is going to be the same simply due to the dynamic nature of individualization and relationships in that regard.
I know it's hard to answer that question specifically because, like you were saying, Ethan, it is going to be different for everybody. We can't all expect to have the same views, which is why we do this podcast. It's because we want to know those views. And some people might share the same views. So,
yeah. And on this episode, we learned quite a few views that we share and that we do not share, like about pineapples.
wow, what a good way to wrap it up.
And salt, yeah.
Salt on pineapples.
Oh. And
I am sorry for your pineapple experience. That truly sounds terrible.
Salty pineapples.
Right?
I truly don't understand.
There somewhere.
Probably.
Oh, there is.
I mean, it's an aphrodisiac, right? So, like, that's something.
Is it really?
Is it?
I think so.
You don't even know.
Am I lying?
To Uncle Google we go.
Is pineapple an aphrodisiac? Yes. Yes, they
Oh.
do. Yes,
They
it
do
is.
have they lift libido, boost happy hormones and energy levels.
Thanks to the
It's
presence
because of the
vitamin
vitamin C and thiamine.
Aha. I'm right about something. That's
and
a first.
manganese, which is good for men's sexual health.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
See,
We
that's
learn
the
a little
whole
bit of
science.
everything.
That's the science behind, like, like the whole thing of men drinking pineapple juice before doing sexual acts.
Uh-huh.
I just
That's
do
where that whole thing stems from.
I just drink pineapple juice because I like it, but
Bro, I
I
do
mean,
too.
yeah, it's
That
good.
just sounds good.
yeah. Oh, well, I think we're gonna have to wrap up this first of many relationship episode, and also duo
Lingo?
Yeah, like a tag team
Not the
episode.
fucking
Interviewees.
owl. No, don't summon him.
I can hear him.
Okay. My conspiracy theory is that was all a complete bullshit, by the way. That's my
And we'll-
conspiracy theory for today.
We'll talk
What
about
was
that
complete
later.
bullshit?
That was
Duolingo?
all an ad campaign from the beginning.
Oh yeah, shit.
It
We
was
were supposed
never
to tell
real.
them.
Oh shit, I'm
Because-
sorry. Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
They were for the bourgeoisie.
They work
The
for the
government
bourgeoisie and the
installed.
robots.
The government
Jesus.
installs batteries in the birds. They're drones.
Uh-huh. Last
That's why
bird died in the
happened.
in the late 1900s. Nope, late 1800. Wait, fuck, late 20th century. That's the one.
1900s.
Yeah.
Shit.
But thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
This
it was really
fun.
fun.
This was
I
fun.
had a lot of laughs, and it was also interesting getting to know the dynamic of your guys' relationship, how it
Uh-huh.
all works. But housekeeping stuff, like always. Thank you to Nadia Diaz for our podcast cover art. Her Instagram is at Arthead Creations. That will be in the description. And thank you to Jensen Kral, who made our intro and outro song for this podcast. I know Malcolm has listened to it. I've listened to it. It's his demo called Knocking on Doors for the musical Tea Time. It's a bop.
It is a
Listen
bop.
to it. Listen to it.
It's on Spotify.
Tis on Spotify. You can
Also on
find it
iTunes and
Spotify,
Apple Music
and
if you're inferior.
all the musical places like this podcast. Also send us questions.
Yes.
The emails.
Email
The waiting.
us.
The number. The email is waiting. The number 4 seconds at gmail.com, and that's going to be linked in the description as well. Do it, or Duo's coming after you. Woo. Woo.
All right. Now we want to get a
thank
clean
you.
take of
Ounlisjed.
No.
Ounlisjed.
We'll get it. We'll get it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Thank you everybody again for listening to the podcast. Thank you, Ethan and Cam, for coming and hanging out with us.
More than a pleasure.
And I don't think we're gonna say goodbye. I think we're just gonna say the line, say the word,
You
one
say
at
the
a
line?
time.
Uh-huh.
Ounlisjed.
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 Ounlisjed.